order. It's Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, and it is 10:30, and we're here to review the NextGen911 MOU and discuss the future of 911 emergency services in Shoshone County. And I'll turn it over to Lance or
Casey.
Casey.
Take it on over.
Yep. Casey Van Buskirk, for the record, Communications Director. I didn't know if we would have a member of the public with us to go into the details of some of the discussion, and I left it a little vague for that reason. So,
Okay.
Well, everything's being recorded in public.
oh, perfect. So then I'll give you the long version as well. For this particular MOU, it's an agreement basically with the state, and as you saw on the MOA I provided, that it's between Shoshone County and the Idaho Public Safety Communications Commission. And for the sake of the public, the purpose of that commission is to assist cities, counties, ambulance districts, and fire districts in the establishment, management, operations, and accountability of consolidated emergency communication systems and interoperable public safety communications and data systems. So that's their mission. And why that's important to us in Shoshone County is because in previous grant processes, so I've written 2 grants to that agency, and they've helped us out. And I was going to say, everyone has a telephone, whether it's a landline or a cell phone, and on that you pay $1.25. And that's been established since the 80s. $1 stays in the county, and that provides the budget for the 911 budget for the county. So it's not really taxpayer money for the most part that funds 911 services. And 25 cents that goes to the IPSCC. And what the state, so we use that for our county, and what the state does with their 25 cents, they pool that and it makes several millions of dollars per year. And they basically provide grants and that funding back to the counties or the states or municipalities that have 911 services in the form of grants to pay for items that individual entities may not be able to afford. And so for us, the first grant that I wrote replaced our entire 911 hardware. That was the 2019 grant year, and they provided us $313,992 with no matching costs, and that bought us a 911 system, a generator for the 911 system, and a whole host of other things that benefited our county. Just 2 years ago, or last grant year, I also wrote a smaller grant for just $20,798 for some training, for our 911 networking fees, and some maintenance fees on the 911 generator. So the grant process has been very beneficial for Shoshone County. So in laying that foundation, they are taking the 25 cents in the pool, and they're basically generating a grant statewide. And that's what the MOA is for. They're basically going to pool those millions of dollars. They have a plan, which I think I forwarded you some of the information. If you wanted to read through that, I am not going to take the time, nor do I have the technical expertise to do that. But basically, they're going to. The state of Idaho is one of the few states that is not NextGen ready. I'm only guessing my memory, like 3. We're one of the 3. And so they want to change that. And that's the whole purpose of the IPSCC.
Okay.
And so what this program is they're going to funnel that money, those millions of dollars, over the next 4 or 5 years, and they're going to build a new infrastructure for NextGen 911. And they're not making it mandatory for the counties and entities to join. It's completely voluntary, but this is not putting the heavy hand out there. But if we don't support it, then it is the sole responsibility of the county to provide their own 911 service and the maintenance that goes along with that. So just for reference, I brought the quote from that. I think I brought the quote. If I didn't, I'll have to guess. Oh yeah. The last quote we got for a standalone system, and that was 2019. For complete system was $194,697.43. So almost $200,000. And
That was in 2019.
oh, that was July of 2018 for the 2019 bill. So they're saying we will give you the support statewide, and we're going to put this in place if you and it's voluntary. There is out of 47 agencies and municipalities and PSAPs or public safety and entry points, the 911 centers, one has opted out. Each county, and sometimes it's a city that runs the 911 center, sometimes it's a county or a different entity that combine those, consolidate those. But so they're saying they would just, as you read through it, basically we're going to share our GIS data with the state and whatever information we can do to make that system better. And they're not going to charge us anything for that. But that's not to say it won't cost us a little bit more in the future. So what it will save us, our camera trunks will go away. And basically a camera trunk is when you call 911, do you know where that call goes? Most people don't, and I don't understand all the technicalities, but basically you think you call 911, it goes to the sheriff's office, but it doesn't. If you call on a landline, it actually goes to Pullman, Washington, or Everett, Washington, depending on which CAMA you're on, or that's where the selective routers are at. So then it goes there, and it figures out through the computer, oh, this needs to go to Wallace. Then it ships that back to us in milliseconds. Or if it's a cell tower, same thing. It goes to the cell tower and it hits the hub and goes to the selective router, and it says, oh, that needs to go back to Wallace, and it ships it back to us. That length of time, we're charged for those miles that it travels. And roughly that is $5,856 a year for a 911 service. We pay that every year. The grant that I wrote last year did pay for 2 years of that. So we haven't had to pay that the last 2 years. I did not follow through and write a grant this year, but in years past we've just paid that. So with this system, the camera trunks will go away because it will no longer use a selective router. It'll be over fiber. That doesn't mean that those fees will not show up somewhere else. And so there will be, the latest I heard, I did not print the email I got a few days ago, there will be a fee for each position that we have in our center. And it's a few $1,000s, and I can get you the numbers for that. But basically, we're going to be charged that regardless. That's just without saying. But an example that Eric Newman, who is the state guy for Office of Emergency Management, his name's Eric Newman, in one of his presentations or with the vendor, he basically says people have smartphones, right? So whether it's an Apple phone or an Android phone, and then within those, how many models can you get? Or apps do you have on your phone? Now you pay for those, right? It's your choice to have whatever phone you want and whatever you want on there. But if the back end of that doesn't work, what good is your phone? Nothing. So really all this is all the back end, the technological side of things, that it won't affect whether we have a Zetron system in the building or if we have a Motorola, we have a Vesta, we have a Viper, that's all 911. That's our choice to use whatever vendor and particular company that suits our particular needs and or pricing. But the back end of that is what they're rebuilding, or they're going to build a new one. And so they just want your support to say that we're officially on board with your autographs.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
No.
Any questions?
Oh, thank you for
thank you for
This was some
detailed
really good
information.
reading.
I have more. I
It's
just
technical.
It's good to keep up with the state.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are.
Yeah.
It's a diagram. I know, yeah.
yeah, there really is nothing in my years of experience, nothing negative for the county on this.
Exactly.
And so from that aspect, it's good. And I am not asking for any money. I think
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
sometimes I come
We
here
always
and
like
ask for
that.
money. Yeah. So it's just an autograph, and then I can send that to them right away.
Okay.
The future of 911 in our county is pretty good. You know, I put that on there just to, you know, we don't communicate real often, but like we all have different roles, and we have plenty to do in the county to make sure everything runs as well as possible. And 911 is near and dear to my heart and a lot of people who have used the service individually, but it's the prices are always going up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Technology is going up. When we first got our 911 system, our Zetron system, its life expectancy was 5 to 7 years, and it lasted 14.
Wow.
Thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually still in the basement over there, but it's so antiquated.
Now that's the hard part, is keeping up with new technology. It's just
Yes.
expensive, even with our computers here. And
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
if you
Well,
don't, then you're,
Yeah.
you're.
Well, and then
get
with
dead
the
in the water
technology, the
eventually.
new technology, then you have the training.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then you have to learn it too.
Mhm.
So,
It's always good to keep up.
yes.
For an update, now those systems last 3 to 5 years. And the
Oh,
3-year
wow.
period is when you start planning to replace it, because it takes a year to get it all facilitated and ordered and shipped and installed and tested. And then it's time to start over again.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate because we've actually, in the last few years, consolidated from this point forward. We consolidated with Post Falls, Bonner County, to begin with, and now Boundary, I believe, is also in that. And so they're bigger agencies. They have a lot more resources, and they wrote the grant so that it isn't costing us to replace that. And the state really likes consolidation. And so they're still working on that. We're not real happy with the service that we got from the latest vendor that the group went with, and that's a matter of discussion. It's functioning, but not up to the other agencies or our standards either. But the other agencies, they have some of the people that work there actually installed and helped build ours a few years ago. So they know, they're really smart guys, and so they're not happy, and they're actually battling the company for that. But and then I have just one other thing for the future of 911, unrelated. Just putting it out there so you guys are aware that I'm not asking for money yet, but it may come up. The main computer hardware and software that we use to run the jail, the electronic doors, the radio frequencies, was part of the original Zetron that we had from 14, well, it'd be almost 20 years ago. And we haven't done a whole lot except to update the software in that. So the company is really pressuring us to at least get a service contract. They want to, of course, they want to update it.
Yeah.
So they have provided a quote for that, and I'm going to kind of battle with that. Do you want to hear the hard number first and why I want to battle for it?
How bad is it?
In my opinion, it's bad, but it may be unavoidable just because of the way technology is. It's $109,097. This is what I want to battle on. They haven't answered my questions. I actually got this quote a couple months of April. There's 3 items in this. One is for the hardware refresh. So all the hardware, the computers, the monitors, all is replaced. And that includes all the listing for the breakdown of the hardware and everything that includes hardware. That's $43,000 just for the equipment, which is reasonable in the business. But then they have what's called the PSP, the Product Service Plan or warranty.
Okay.
That's where I met with these gentlemen, and that's what I have my argument with them. I'm typically a little reserved and an introvert by nature. But this, it's going to be $33,000 for a PSP. That is software services, hardware services, operating web training for 2 4-hour sessions, and membership in the Zetron Max users group. Do you know how often I've used that since we've had that system? Never. Now, when we first got it, I believe it came on a grant, but I'm not 100% because that was before my time in administration. But so in the years that I've worked there, both on the line and in administration, we've never used that service. That basically, if the hardware fails, they'll replace it. For $33,000, we could replace it for a lot less if it's a computer or it's a monitor, in my opinion. The software services, if the software fails,
That's there, yeah.
we're paying them $33,000 for that. I personally just don't see it, and I will fight for that, whether that's part of the package deal. I mean, I don't mind spending money if it's going to help us out.
How long of a term is it that they?
Okay, so then I'll break that down. I think that's 5 years. I think it's like $6,000 to $7,000 a year.
Okay.
And then the other thing I want to fight, they haven't answered, how long is it going to? And I basically have asked them, how long is it going to take to install it? What is our downtime? You know, I want to be able to plan that. To take out the old and put in the new, it's going to cost the county $32,000. I have an issue with that too. Even if they send 3 or 4 technicians over, I've rarely seen it shut down our system. They'll shut down one monitor at a time and one computer at a time, so we're still operational. And I don't foresee that lasting more than 2 or 3 days. And it just seems top of the price for that, for even
$10,000 a day to.
Yes. So I'll fight for that as well and see what the need is for that. The description, let's see, it continues on. That's $109,000 for it. Some of the description also, an optional service is the maintenance and support for year 2, which is $6,000. System maintenance and support for year 3 is $6,000. I guess that's optional. So this is the base price. And then if you want the maintenance after the first year, then it's going to be $6,000, $66, $68, $7,000, $7,300 for the next 5 years. The trouble is we do need the system.
Yep.
So at the very least,
It's
something.
14 years or 20 years old.
Well, we've had the program in place, but I thought that we had done a system update when Mr. Gunnison first took office, so about 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, I think they said it expired in
about
2021.
Okay.
But I thought that no, I was new in my position. I might not even been the director at that time. So I looked through the paperwork I have. I could not find receipts of what service was done about 6 years ago. But that would have been about the right time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's get that started and get it in front of us again, and we'll.
Yeah, at least
Look at
consider this and see what
Yeah.
if it's negotiable, but in the very least,
Because we need it.
yeah. And of course, that would be, although we use it in the 911 center, it technically is part of the jail, part of the building, because it's the jail security and the radios. So it's not specifically, wouldn't come out of the 911 budget. But, but I wanted you to be aware of that before it comes critical.
Okay.
And it fails.
Yeah.
So
Let's
you have
do
something
it
to
before
think
it
about.
comes critical. Yep.
You want to address the MOU or?
Yeah. I entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve this memorandum of agreement between Shoshone County and the IPSCC.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. We'll sign it.
Thank you.
Is this one we want to sign right here, Sydney?
Yeah.
Yeah, I particularly found under Sheriff that this page, if you're having sleep trouble,
Just read that one for
just read that one back.
Let's see where that
and forth,
where
'cause
we have where we sign
I
it.
thought there's something wrong. I'm not understanding this.
Did I miss it? Oh.
Up the top.
3 there.
Oh, these 3 right here.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
that date on there.
That's it.
All right.
Sweet.
I'll give you a copy. Just you take a copy and file
Yeah,
it?
if you could send me,
Okay.
once they have signed, just the full
Okay.
executors for our records.
Yep.
Okay, we'll do.
Well, thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank
you very
Meeting
much. You too.
adjourned.